The body of Dickson Ngong was laying in Quartier Bangante in the Douala II municipality after he was stoned to death by the angry residents. Witnesses say it was early Thursday morning at Carrefour Benskin where Dickson and his friend Amadou Bairo began fighting over a 100 CFA coin found on the ground. With both parties refusing to let go of the coin, Dickson Ngong stabbed Bairo on the neck and took off. He was apprehended by the population at Quartier Bangante. This inpatient explains he came in for consultation and assisted in the rushing of the victim to the emergency ward. The 27-year-old Bairo was rushed to the New Bell District Hospital where he gave up the ghost. The 100 CFA coin which claimed the lives of both men did not belong to any of them. Forces of law and order are investigating the matter.
Dancing their traditional dance in a peaceful manner in front of the Limbe Central Police Station. Their message is being passed. The people of Botaland village in Limbe 2 subdivision are one family.
Since this man wants us to die, we are prepared to die for our land because that land the land is surrendered to Botaland village. So the Botaland is not to Chief Ndila Metumbe. I even have the paper here, the photocopy of the paper.
The people says some of the villagers have been convocated at the Limbe Central Police Station by their chief for removing pillars that have been placed at the village new layout plot surrendered to them by the Cameroon Development Corporation, the CDC.
Do not touch the demarcated pillars, the red and the green pillars. We do not touch them. We touch the pillars that demarcated the plot that we wanted to share to the people.
In anger and frustration, they are bitter with their chief. The women says these leaves shall be dropped at their chief palace, signifying ill luck to their chief.
And these leaves so will carry and go for a house, for a compound will throw and make it because he don't back us out for world. We don't know what to for where we fit do again.
It should be noted that the Bota land crisis emanated from land surrender to the village community by the Cameroon Development Corporation, and this has led to a court case that is still ongoing at the Limbe Court of First Instance.
Some Yaoundé urban development projects are incomplete due to administrative bottleneck by those in charge of financing them. The project to improve circulation and accessibility around the Kunu neighborhood, jointly financed by the World Bank and the government of Cameroon, is a case in point. The World Bank, we were told, even threatened to pull out of the project due to the administrative bottleneck by some Cameroonian administrators. Other projects, like the Mimboman Kwabang Road, are incomplete as working equipment were blocked at the Douala port, blocking the path of work for water and electricity. Another problem with Yaoundé urban development projects is a non-payment of indemnities owed locals who were expropriated or lost properties before the execution of the projects. Administrative authorities are said to be dragging with payment of indemnities for over 2 years now. Minister Mbwenchu of Housing and Urban Development, a city changer, has pledged to see to it that these problems are resolved. While some quarters in Yaoundé are being disenclaved to ease circulation and accessibility, others are begging for rehabilitation, such as the Mvongbi Market stretch of road and the stretch of road from Gros Bouquet to Mbankolo in Yaoundé.
administrative bottlenecks stifling the smooth execution of some Yaoundé urban projects in that part of the country. Thanks for that report, Roland Akong. Some heavy-duty truck drivers are requesting the Minister of Transport to modify his recent circular prohibiting the circulation of heavy-duty trucks from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. They argue that accidents at night could be more dangerous and recurrent than during the day. Regan Foba has the details.
At the Bonawake Sand Depot in Akwa North, people can still be seen loading sand to be transported in broad day. The drivers say they have not yet started respecting the ministerial ban, restricting them from circulating cities during working hours. They say implementing the decision is practically impossible.
These guys cannot work in the night. Maybe you can go to somewhere that you are not seeing in the night. Tied up there, for instance, like entering here in the night, if you are a new driver, it's not easy. Look at the road. It's not easy, but at the daytime like this, you see it with your two eyes. You see it well. Even where you go and throw your sand or anything else, you see it. You know that I'm throwing this thing here. But in the night, they can take you to a riverside, but you are surprised you are inside. You will do how in the night? For me, I don't think it can be easy. Yeah.
Another driver we spoke to reveals that working only at night will reduce their daily income since they are paid according to the amount of sand they transport on a daily basis. He further explains that the risk of accidents is higher at night because of high speed and bad roads.
Quand on a la route ouverte, chacun essaie d'appuyer son champignon et il va vite.
To the laborers loading the vehicles, though it is possible to load at night with the presence of moonlight, it is however not easy because of the rising sea level at night.
La nuit, comment on va faire un chargement dans l'obscurité?
Given the risks of working at night, it is the wish of these sand transporters that the ministerial decision be reviewed.
And still in the milieu of transportation, a 70-seater bus belonging to Amu Mezam travel agency that left Bamenda for Douala was hijacked by armed men. The bus was seized in Buda few minutes to midnight after the alleged hoodlums ordered passengers out of the vehicle, and all the over 70 passengers were stranded as the men took the bus to an unknown destination with all their belongings on board. And in news out of the country, sheer panic and lack of medical care have been observed as the factors favoring the expansion of the Ebola virus in some West African countries. Meantime, Cuba has sent the biggest medical contingent to the West Africa to help fight the disease. Details in the following report by Deutsche Welle TV.
This hospital was on the front line in the fight against Ebola. Now, doctors don't even come to work for fear they'll get infected. Here in Guinea's capital, Conakry, many people have lost faith in the country's health service. One of them, Mbalia Kamara, used to do good business selling food to doctors and patients.
There are no customers anymore. People have run away from the hospital because even if you just have a headache, they'll tell you you have Ebola and give you an injection that will kill you.
Misinformation is part of the problem. The World Health Organization says almost 4,900 people have died in the outbreak, though the real number may be much higher. And medical staff are in very short supply. In neighboring Liberia, there were only about 50 trained doctors before Ebola hit. Now Cuba is sending in reinforcements. The island nation's doctors and nurses make up the biggest medical contingent sent to West Africa from any country in the world. Cuban officials even say they're ready to put aside their differences to work together with American doctors.
The most important thing is the fight against Ebola. Any other thing should be put aside so we can work shoulder to shoulder with them anytime, no problem at all.
Along with the epidemic, there's a growing food crisis threatening to plunge West Africa into famine. The UN warns that agriculture has come to a standstill and says the international community must do more to contain the crisis before it gets worse.
And a month since 43 students went missing after clashing with local police in the Mexican city of Iguala, the Mexican government said the mayor and his wife are linked to the disappearance of the students. The Attorney General has issued an arrest warrant for the couple as well as the local police. Details with the German overseas channel, the DWTV.
Anger in Iguala has reached a fever pitch. Protesters set fire to the town hall on Wednesday. They blame the city's mayor for the disappearance of 43 students. Police reportedly turned the students over to a notorious drug gang, something gang members and officers arrested in the case have corroborated.
The detainees themselves say that the order to confront the students came by radio from the police station. They were told the order was from A5, that's code for the mayor of Iguala.
Mayor José Luis Abarca and his wife have since disappeared. Abarca is accused of ordering police in late September to attack busloads of student protesters, sparking deadly clashes. Afterward, police handed over the nearly 4 dozen students to the powerful Guerreros Unidos cartel. In Mexico City, tens of thousands gathered to demand the students be returned alive. Their fate, though, remains a mystery. Investigators have uncovered 9 mass graves. So far, none of them appears to contain the missing students.
Sport football, the Indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon make double qualifications in one match. Their 2-1 victory against Cote d'Ivoire Wednesday gave them not only a ticket for the final of the 9th edition of the African Female Nations Cup, but for the World Cup that will be coming up in 2015 in Canada. Details in the following report. The Indomitable Lionesses of Cameroon avoided entangling themselves in a fight for a third-place ticket ahead of the 2015 FIFA Women's World Cup in Canada by beating their Ivorian counterpart 2-1 at the Sam Nujoma Stadium in Windhoek, Namibia. To book not only a ticket for the final of the Namibian tournament, also for the World Cup built for May, what will be their first appearance. The second semi-final game at the 9th African Female Championship was a clash of the titans that saw the Lionesses eliminating the Elephant at the ultimate minute. Gahel Nganamwe put the Lionesses ahead at 60th minute, but Ray will later level score 5 minutes to change the tune of the match. But after 90 minutes of soccer duel, the two sides separated on a 1-1 tie. Michel Ngonomani played the last card at 118 minutes to punish the Ivorian ladies, as Cameroon obtained a direct qualification to the World Cup. 2-1 was the final score. This qualification is thanks to a fine start at the early stage of the competition. The Lionesses beat the Bayana of South Africa 1-0 in their opener in Group B, then trashed Algeria 2-0 in second game. And despite their 0-1 loss against the Black Queens of Ghana, their qualification for the semi-final was unstoppable. The Lionesses, who will be playing the World Cup in 2015 for their very first time, will meet the Super Falcons of Nigeria this Saturday in the final of the 9th Female Nations Championship. Both nations are the site with many appearances than any other country in the 8-nation tournament. Gael Ngamwe, who has 3 goals, will struggle to be named highest goal scorer in the tournament by challenging Desire Oparanozi of Nigeria, who has 4 goals.
Algérie 0, le Cameroun prend les commandes.
That does it for the first segment of this news. The second part dedicated to Talking Point just in a jiffy. Human rights is universal, including persons living with HIV/AIDS. Activists argue that by right, this group of persons need to be treated equally like non-HIV/AIDS patients. What is therefore the legal environment surrounding HIV/AIDS patients, and can discrimination and stigmatization be an impediment to the smooth running of their daily activities? And tonight we have a jurist. She's equally the Chief of Division for the Promotion and Protection of Human Rights at the National Commission of Human Rights and Freedom in Cameroon. Good evening, Mrs. Eva.
Good evening.
Now, what is human rights situation in Cameroon as far as HIV/AIDS persons are concerned?
In Cameroon, actually, you have a legal framework to fight against human rights related violations, which can be considered like some discriminations against people who are HIV positive. and other related rights, like maybe the right to job, maybe right to property, and so on, what we observe in our society. But beside that, you have many institutions who work together to make sure that people having HIV/AIDS are equally protected in their rights, because you know they are human beings. And one of the basic principles in human rights is the one of equality of all the citizens, every human being, and I can even add the one of non-discrimination against amongst all human beings. So that is legally the environment whereby we fight human rights is related violation today. And beside that, internationally also we have some guidelines where we can focus some actions to fight against some violation that can occur in this environment. As an actor in the field, what is the situation like in Cameroon? In Cameroon, of course, we have many things that are going on with the National Committee to Fight Against AIDS. We have also some related UN agency like UNAIDS who does a lot of things in this fight. We have also maybe the National Commission and many civil society organizations fighting to make sure that people having HIV/AIDS are being protected, and maybe their rights also are being promoted. So many things are being carried out. But we still have some discrimination, some stigmatization of these people. Maybe before coming to stigmatization and discrimination, I wanted to ask, what are some of the issues or practices? You can see somebody who may maybe have problem to access a job just because the word of the requirement is that they may like you to conduct a test before maybe being recruited, and they cannot. It may be that maybe it's not even the condition, but the fact that they will like you to conduct a test maybe before being recruited somewhere will make some people to think that already they are not going to take them. Okay. Whether it can also be a matter of them maybe knowing having some data on HIV/AIDS situation and in Cameroon, employees. And this make that many people feel frustrated and they don't even apply for jobs. So it's a matter of a psychological issue also that we are living in society. That now brings us to the issue of stigmatization and discrimination. Yes. How is it carried out? Oh, you know, in society, some people don't have a lot of information on HIV/AIDS, even though many things are being done in that domain. And because till now we know that we don't have a treatment for people who have AIDS, we have many things being done in the medical domain, maybe for us to stop some illnesses in this domain, but we don't yet have the treatment. And because of this, many people feel that when you are HIV positive, already you are somebody maybe condemned to death. And because of that, they don't count you anymore in some circumstances like somebody who have to, that they can count on, that they can progress, that they can plan many things in the future with, because they feel that maybe if they have to introduce you in what they are doing, you may one day just go because you are condemned to death. So because of that, people today live a lot of stigmatization and discriminations. And what are the legal instruments that the National Commission for Human Rights and Freedom can use in case of this stigmatization and discrimination? You know, there is no legal international framework that we can say just dedicated on this issue and which is bounding. But we have many of them that can be used. You have the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which is a constitutional framework in Cameroon. You have many other tests that protect some related rights which are being violated in the fight against HIV/AIDS. You have, for example, the Convention of the Right of the Child. I can quote this one. You have many legal instruments. Even nationally, you have the Penal Code, which is there to protect right of people in the domain of health when these rights are being violated. But the issue is that is everybody aware of this? And the other issue is that it's also very difficult at times to prove, because you may have in a couple somebody who infects another person. How do you prove? Because at times you don't know where the infection comes, is not written on somebody's face, and it's not always easy to prove that this is the person who infected me, and maybe he have to be maybe condemned because of this. So that is some of the difficulties we have in this fight.
So you're organizing a workshop in Douala to brainstorm and validate 2 research work carried out. Can you tell us more about this research carried out as concerns stigmatization, discrimination?
Yes, this research is carried on the coordination of the National Commission on Human Rights and Freedoms, and it has been mandated by UNAIDS and in partnership with UNDP and with the Cameroon Association of Female Jurists. And one of the workshops as we are saying, on the legal audit, which are the instruments that exist in Cameroon to protect human beings against discrimination and stigmatization in the fight in the domain of HIV-related HIV/AIDS issues. Then the other study is what are the legal service which can be handed to these people. So those reports were being presented today, and all the actors who were invited were somehow 75 people who came today for that, and we were trying to see what we can do to ameliorate what the experts produce today.
I was about asking what next after this report, after this meeting. What next? What will the National Commission for Human Rights and Freedom do?
Okay, after the report, the commission is an institution who can do a type of lobbying, who can do a type of advertising maybe in the domain advocacy. Yes, that's the word I was looking for. Maybe to change some policies, maybe to ameliorate the legal framework. So it will depend, because the workshop is still ongoing. People had group work today, and tomorrow we are going to have the result of what the outcome of this group work, and I'm sure that after this we have some action to take, and this action can be, as I was saying, advocacy, maybe for an improvement, some lobbying actions, and maybe more sensitization also as far as legal environment in the fight against HIV/AIDS is concerned.
So to go out of this interview, what are you telling HIV/AIDS patients watching us tonight as far as their right is concerned?
I'm telling them that we know many things are ongoing in the fight against HIV/AIDS, especially in the medical domain, but we know that human rights-based approach in this fight is still a challenge, and we are concerned. That's why we are trying to carry out a free investigation, a few studies, for us to know what to better do to approach them. They have some institution, they have some organization that they can contact when they are being faced with discrimination, stigmatization, and other related violations.
What are such organizations? Maybe briefly.
You have the Human Rights Commission, which is there, which is a national institution to promote and protect human rights and all type of human rights. We are there, we are open. You have some of these associations like ACAFESH, Cameroon Female Jurist Association. We have who have some legal services to help people who have this type of discrimination. Let them come, and we continue to do what we could do to improve the environment.
All right, thank you very much, Mrs. Eva Tonge Maye, the Chief of Division for the Promotion and Protection of Human Rights in the National Commission of Human Rights and Freedoms in Cameroon. Thanks for joining us in this edition
of
the
news. Welcome. Thank you.
And thanks for joining us, televiewers, in this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Equinox Television. Tomorrow is another day. Good night and goodbye from Douala.